The first Zimbabwean dollar was created in 1980 and signed by the last governor of the Reserve Bank of Rhodesia, Desmond C. Croft. This series had 4 banknotes in denominations of $2, $5, $10, and $20, and featured the famous Chiremba balancing rocks with scenes and fauna from around Zimbabwe. In 1994, a new series was created with a $50 and $100 banknote and modern designs. These banknotes were signed by the then new governor of the Reserve Bank, Leonard L. Tsumba, and also featured new security designs such as latent imaging and identification marks. Soon, signs of inflation began to emerge, and $500 and $1,000 banknotes were introduced in 2001 and 2003. In 2003, rampant inflation became hyperinflation, and emergency traveler checks were issued in denominations of 1,000 to 100,000. These checks were unpopular because they had an expiration date, were one-time use, and you needed an ID to obtain and redeem them. On August 1, 2006, Operation Sunrise was executed, and the Zimbabwean dollar was redenominated, lopping off 3 zeros from the first Zimbabwean dollar and introducing the next dollar. Effectively, all previous banknotes had expired with 28 bearer checks, produced spanning from the 1 cent all the way to the $500 million. In 2008, individual agro checks were issued, initially just for farmer use. These banknotes eventually found their way to everyday Zimbabweans and were used as currency during this time. The banknotes were from $5 billion to $100 billion, for a total of 32 banknotes in this series. Not long after introducing the $100 billion agro check, on August 1, 2008, the Zimbabwean dollar was revalued yet again, with 10 zeros being lopped off. This third series, known as the Trillion series, retained the same obverse designs of the Chiremba balancing rocks, featuring various images of animals and locations around Zimbabwe in sets of 2 on the reverse. The third series culminated with the creation of $100 trillion banknote, the largest denomination in the world to be printed in English, in dollars, and with the numbers and denomination to be printed out completely. On February 2, 2009, the 4th series was introduced, and this time 12 zeros were lopped off. These banknotes were short-lived since the Zimbabwean dollar was demonetized just 2 months later. The country began to rely on foreign currency, but that proved problematic due to the country's lack of supply control, and in November 2016, Zimbabwean bonds were introduced to circulate along with foreign currencies. From 2006 to 2008, 59 banknotes were printed at a rate of approximately 1 new banknote every 2 weeks, from 1 cent to 100 trillion. The latest issue of banknotes are the $2 and $5, introduced in 2019, and this time without the words bond note. And then again, in May and June of 2020, $10 and $20 banknotes entered circulation. What will the future of the Zimbabwe dollar hold? Will they go once again into hyperinflation, or will they return to relying on foreign currency?
In an open economy with market determination of prices, exchange rate movements are the most important indicator of underlying macroeconomic fundamentals. As the saying goes, when in doubt, observe the exchange rate. The lesson from history for governments is that you cannot manage the economy with propaganda. In fact, you can engage in all the propaganda you want, but if the fundamentals are weak, the exchange rate will expose you.
3 years ago, we put aside $100 million Zimbabwe dollars, and they said, Igbo, IBDC, AAG, come and collect. In the second year, we said, when we give you money, you don't use it to pay all the debts. You must use it for new projects. So we didn't give 100 million, we then gave 400 million. And again, we are unable to trace it. The third round now, we are sitting on 720 million. We are now deciding how to give it. But most important, we now realize that that is not the best way of empowering